So it looks like last week we had Jonathan as primary, and then Michael, you were secondary. So anything to report from that?
Yep, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep, so pretty standard stuff. Nothing necessarily to raise here at this meeting, just answering questions and triaging issues. What about you, Michael?
Yep, nothing really to add.
Yep, sounds good.
Great, sounds good. Thanks, guys. All right, so I think we can go ahead and choose next week's primaries and secondaries. So first, do we have any volunteers for primary before I just start going down the list?
Yeah, at me as secondary, please. Rank.
Is that Pasha? Okay, sounds good. Pasha will be secondary. Okay. All right. And then any volunteers for primary or okay. So I guess we can go down the list. So Jonathan was primary last week. So Ishita, are you on the call? And if so,
actually I was a week before this.
oh, okay,
No
no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Jesse, are you willing to be primary for this week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. All right. Perfect. Looks like we are good there. All right, so yeah, moving on. Looks like Michael, you had a topic about managing clusters via proxy. So would you like to discuss this?
Yeah, the PR basically changes the network configuration that's used in command util cluster.go to respect the environment proxy values. I like the PR looks reasonable and makes sense to me. I just wanted to make sure that someone who's more familiar with like all the network connections that take place when managing a cluster, wanted to make sure that someone else took a look and that this didn't look like it was going to break some edge case. So it's in a fairly central piece of code.
Basically, I think I saw that PR and I had the same worry. I don't really know how to test it. That's the main concern. Yeah.
Fair. I guess you'd have to have a I mean, do you mean unit test or just testing locally?
Maybe on the call, anyone at least knows like what is it about? I was like the naive way to think about it is that maybe I thought that client should not worry if it talks for proxy or not, but it's obviously not true. Anyone know why? Like why do we have to have a special like that? Why do we have to tell to Kubernetes client that it's behind the proxy?
Yeah, it seems like it ought to be the default behavior. The rest config is just respect the environment's proxy settings, but apparently you have to explicitly tell it to.
Mm. Right, I guess maybe one other option is to ask contributor for instructions about how to test it.
Fair. Yeah, it seems like you may have to like set up a proxy locally and then proxy traffic to Minikube. You need I guess you need 2 local clusters set up because this is for communication with a quote external cluster. Yeah, dicey one to test, but I'll ask them for like steps to reproduce and test since they've hopefully already done that.
All right. So it sounds like we will just reach out to them, ask for testing instructions. did anybody have any more thoughts on this? Or Michael, did you have any more topics regarding this before we move on?
Nope, that's helpful.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. All right, looks like Leo has a topic about an increase in unauthorized error in the latest release. So Leo, did you want to discuss this?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to mention that at Intuit, we're seeing an increase in unauthorized errors. We're troubleshooting this and analyzing what could be possibly be the root cause. But one thing we notice is that the latest Argo CD, by the day we deployed in our clusters, we saw an increase in this type of error. And we're trying to really find what could be the root cause. And I suspect, Alex, I mean, you work on this to switch the AWS CLI and provide a in-house command that signs requests while for interacting with Kube API, right? And I remember that I also improved this a bit, adding some retry logic. So, but I'm not sure if this is the case. Do you have any idea of anything that could be also contributing to this?
Are you still using KM in between in the clusters where errors happening? It's kind of, I feel like, because if you still use KM project for AWS authentication, easy to blame it because it's known to be like flaky. And maybe one suggestion is to try to basically you can switch cluster back to AWS CLI without, basically, I think it should be possible to volume mount a whole AWS CLI and then change cluster configuration to use that CLI instead of Argo CD KS auth binary, and basically see if error persists. And then if behavior is the same, then I guess we can just say it's not the client problem, it's the server that does authentication. It may be this. I'm not sure if it's
for us to
simple possible.
Yeah, it's an interesting suggestion. It's just wanted to confirm if I don't think we ship that CLI anymore with Argo CD, right?
Yes, we no longer ship it, but I know that basically I think I can Slack you a commitra that still has like Docker instructions. Basically, it's literally one curl command that downloads the zip file, and then another command that unzip it into the folder, and it includes kind of the CLI itself plus I think like a distribution of Python. So it's kind of, I know it can be just delivered as a volume mount plus init container. Yeah, and then another step is to maybe pick a cluster and then change configuration to switch it from AWS to exec provider. And then in exec provider settings, you would have to give a pass to the binary, and that's it. Yeah. And okay, pass to the binary. I will need to take a look. I forgot. Maybe there was an argument, but it's like I know that if you need to test it on a lot of clusters, you would have to do some bash scripting. Basically, maybe make changes manually on one cluster, make sure it still works, and then write a bash script that update all the clusters. So it can take like a few hours, I guess, of work to do that test. But it's one idea.
I think we
Cool.
would have to test on a lot of clusters because out of the 100,000-ish sync operations per day, or I guess resource syncs,
Mhm.
we get about 30 unauthorized errors,
Sure,
as
okay.
opposed to previously we got 1 or 2 a day. So now it's enough to be annoying.
Mhm.
But it's not enough that I would expect to see the error on any given cluster on any given even
Mhm.
week.
Yeah, and another option is to actually check KM logs and see if it, I mean, I personally don't have experience reading those logs, so I won't be able to say if it's like, if it's changed from normal behavior or not, but yeah, that's, I
Yeah,
guess,
that's
yeah,
okay.
it's like just based on my experience, just trying with AWS CLI, at least you can reliably say if it's the client problem or server problem.
Okay, the component that you're referring to is the one that intermediates with Argo CD to exchange ARN to a token. Is that the
Yes, yeah, it sits in the same cluster where Argo CD is, just in a different namespace.
Can you spell the name of this component?
I'll just send it in chat.
Okay, thank you.
Sending right now. Here it is, KIAM.
I
Yeah.
see.
And that's the guy who, like, basically there is reason not to trust it because it's a, deprecated project, and I think it's not even HA. It's like basically, yeah, it might be the problem.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, and then another maybe just piece of information, that code came from a project called IAM Authenticator. So basically there is a, I think it's AWS maintains that project. It does the same thing, it's like Go version of project that includes server that, exchange AWS credentials with the token that Kubernetes understands. Plus it has a client, and client is like super small. So we literally copied a piece of the client here. And it's so basically it wasn't like, I think what I'm trying to say, we have a reference of how the client should be implemented. And I will send you a link to the file where this code was borrowed from.
Yeah, no problem. I found that code. Thanks,
Oh,
Alex.
okay.
I found that. We're suspecting that maybe we're hitting way too much AWS while checking for this, while exchanging this ARN to a token. Maybe we should be caching this. Not sure, but I mean, this is mainly to highlight that the current Argo CD is facing this issue, and we're investigating and try to find how can possibly we patch it and fix it. But I'll inspect the logs as well and see if I can find any clues there.
Was this change made in 2.4? So it's been an issue since upgrading to 2.4?
Yes, it's
Yes.
2.4. Basically, I think the PR was open forever. We were just not sure if it was it. And then recently we also got Google Cloud authentication. So now we have the CLI that we're looking at. It has basically 2 subcommands, one for AWS, one for Google. Yeah.
All right. It sounds like that was it for this topic, right, Leo? Unless you had any other topics regarding this.
No, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so it looks like that is the end of our current agenda. Does anybody have any other topics that they'd like to bring up or add to the agenda? Otherwise, we can end a little bit early, but yeah, give a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but just wanted to do a quick intro of Pavel, who joined that call. Like, we'll hear from him soon. With basically, he's working on a change to improve experience of Argo CD notifications in the UI. We will maybe do a presentation next meeting or meeting after this next meeting.
Perfect.
Yeah, welcome, Pavel. Hope to see you again in that meeting.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there are no other topics from anybody else, then I think we can end a little bit early today. So yeah, thank you everybody for attending.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.